This is my beloved BMW E39 540i one of one 6-speed manual touring. I love it very, very dearly. I've had it for years and I'm going to be doing something very, very special to this car. Something that I've always wanted to do, which I will reveal to you at the end of this video. But before then, let me explain to you why this car is so special. I bought this car back in August 2020, just after we came out of COVID lockdown, and I didn't intend on buying it, to be honest. A really good friend of mine, Anthony, who's part of the BMW car club, rung me up one day and he said, "Ia, I know you like an old BM. Have I got one for you?" He said, "A friend of mine has offered me an E39 Touring." I knew nothing about it. I didn't know what engine it was, what gearbox it was, what colour it was, nothing. A week later, I went to go and view this car. The first time I saw it was the front end sticking out of the end of a driveway, and this half of the car was buried in a bush. It was covered in moss, it was covered in crap. I didn't know what to expect. I had a look around it. First things first, I opened the bonnet. I saw that it had a V8, and then I opened this door, and I saw that it had a manual gearbox, and I thought, this is a very, very cool car, but I did not know how rare it was or how significant it was. I agreed there and then to buy the car off of the lady Charlie who sold it to me. She was very, very nice. The only way that Charlie would let me buy this car though is if I transferred her the money and then left the car and the money with her for 24 hours because she'd been scammed in the past, and that's the way she wanted to do things. And I said, "You know what? That's fine. I trust you." Anyway, I paid the money for this car. I went home and I did a bit of research and I could find only one example for sale at the time on Hexagon Classics for £20,000. And I thought, oh my God, what the hell have I bought? I genuinely didn't know the significance of it at the time. I then got really, really excited. My friend David picked it up for me on the trailer, got it home. The same day, I put a new fuel pump in it and got it running. And that's where my love for this car started. When I first bought this car, I actually bought it with the intentions of selling it on, but after I got it running, I fell in love with it. I then got it on the road and I drove it around for a year and loved absolutely every moment of it. But I knew that this car needed some serious work. So I took it off the road for about 2 years and rebuilt the entire suspension system and the rear jacking points. And I never want to do that again. It was quite possibly the worst job in the world. After the jacking points, I then took it to my friend Ty at Waltham Abbey Crash Repair Centre and he did a full doors off respray on this car. I never intended on doing that, but we went round it, looked at all the little marks and scratches it had and decided on a full respray. He knew how much I love this car, so he went all out to make it as perfect as possible. And my God, has he done a good job. After the full respray, I then took it to Rich's fabrication shop where he fitted a full stainless steel custom valved exhaust, which sounds like this. It then appeared on the Auto Alex V2 channel where I fitted a set of BC Racing coilovers, did some maintenance work and some coolant hoses, and I've been enjoying it ever since up until recently. When I fitted these are 18-inch Alpina B10 Classics. These are literally my dream wheels. I have been thinking about these wheels for longer than I can remember. I had them fully refurbished by Wheelhouse Alloys Ipswich and they have done an incredible job. They look amazing. I've wrapped them in a set of Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tyres and I'm just so happy with them. Notice you can't see the valves because it's in here. One of the spokes is hollow and the air travels up the spokes. They're just so cool. I also fitted a new clutch with a short shifter, rebuilt the headlights and adjusters, and fitted Carphonics Apple CarPlay into the original wooden telly. That is so cool. So you might be wondering what makes this car so rare. So there are actually about 16 E39 540i manual Tourings left in the UK. This one though is a one of one. What makes it so special? Well, it's the spec and colour combination. It's got a factory fitted sport boot spoiler. It has factory fitted shadowline trims. This car does actually have the M Sport package, but doesn't have M Sport bumpers because it's a pre-facelift. Very nerdy, I know. The colour, this is Aspen Silver. Now it is silver, but it's got a very strong hint of purpley pink in the paint. It is an unbelievable colour, especially when the sun hits it. It also has aubergine leather interior, which is like a really nice dark plum purple. It is fantastic, but it doesn't stop there. Chassis-wise, it came with factory-fitted AC Schnitzer suspension. Who else ticked that? This car has still got its AC Schnitzer optional thicker anti-roll bars with factory poly bushes. It is a crazy, crazy thing. You're probably wondering why this car is so unusually spec'd. Well, this car was bought brand new in 1998 by Stuart Goodrich. Goodrich is a company that makes braided brake lines and fuel lines for motorsport and Formula One. They've been going since the 70s and it's a very motorsport derived company. Stuart bought this car brand new back in 1998. He was a racing driver and was clearly a car enthusiast, which is why this car was so oddly but brilliantly spec'd. I've actually still got the original bill of sale for this car with his name on it, and this car back in 1998 was 50 grand. That today is over £100,000. In fact, it was almost the same price as an E39 M5, but you got to remember, you couldn't buy an E39 M5 Touring. You really can see why he spec'd this car the way he did. It was a proper driver's car. I love it. Inside, I think Stuart absolutely nailed the spec of this car. It's got the wood trim, purple leather. It's even got the factory phone. Very, very cool. It's also got TV and it's got the M Sport package. So it's got M Sport seats and the M Sport steering wheel. It's got everything you'd need, even in 2025, especially with the Apple CarPlay. It's a lovely thing to be in. The build quality to this day is still fantastic. These cars were built like tanks. They are so well made. You get the odd little squeak here and there, but overall, it's really, really nice. Just goes to show, they really don't make them like they used to. It's also really nice back here as well. The leather's in fantastic condition. It's really nice. It's actually slightly better than the front, probably because there's been less people in the back. You've got the old typical 90s ashtrays in the door card. You've got an armrest in the middle, and it's quiet on the motorway, so you can even do a nice bit of light reading. And this is the beating heart of Big Bertha, a 4.4 litre quad overhead cam, 32 valve V8, producing just under 300 horsepower. All aluminium block, doesn't weigh a lot, probably a couple hundred kilos, something like that. Very good engine this. They're very reliable. The only real known issues of these engines are timing chain guides, but because this is an early engine with no Vanos, they're less prone to it. But this is a 90s BMW, so remember, it's not without its problems. This piece of boot trim here, for example, is a little bit loose and has a crack in it. There's also a piece in here that's missing, because when I had it fully resprayed, the door trim broke, so we never put that back on. Also, the steering cowling is broken and was previously held on with duct tape, which is why there's some glue residue on it. The front has a knot from one of the steering joints. It has a small oil leak from one of the rocker cover gaskets, standard. And I need to do that thing that I said I was going to do at the beginning of the video, that very special thing that I will tell you about in a minute. But first, before that, let's go out for a drive. So what's this car actually like to drive? Well, when you're driving it normally, it's very smooth, comfortable, quiet, refined. It's a great long distance cruiser. In fact, I've actually taken this car abroad a couple of times now and call it my road trip car because I love driving it long distance. And my God, does it soak up the miles. I could sit in this thing for 5, 6, 7 hours behind the wheel, get out of it and feel as fresh as a daisy. But at the click of a button, it completely transforms into an absolute animal. It is so loud. It is unbelievable. That custom-made exhaust, I love it. Chassis-wise, it's not the best. Tourings of this generation never drive quite as well as saloons. Now, I've replaced a lot of things on the suspension of this car, including the suspension arms, coilovers, and I have fully polybushed the car. Rear suspension setup, I'm not particularly happy with. It does feel a little bit bouncy at the rear, mainly because of the extra weight of it being a touring. So what I would like to do is actually revert the back of this car to have air suspension, because this would have come with factory air suspension. When you chuck it into a corner, because it has AC Schnitzer anti-roll bars, it does stay quite flat and level. It also grips really well because I've fitted a Quaife limited slip diff. Now, it is a helical limited slip diff. It's not a plated one, very nerdy, I know. It doesn't have a high percentage of lock, but it does still have a limited slip diff, which is quite nice because this car came from factory with an open diff. All V8 models, including the E39 M5, comes with a steering box, which is quite agricultural and a bit old-fashioned, and they are a little bit wayward. A straight 6 version of the E39 comes from factory with a normal steering rack, like every modern car does, and the steering feels quite direct. I wouldn't say it's a bad handling car, and I wouldn't say that it feels indirect. It steers nicely, you get good feedback through the steering wheel, and it's just a very nice thing to drive. One of my favourite things about driving it is the gear change. From factory, these have quite a long throw. This has got the shifter from an E60 530i, and I know that because I fitted it. Engine and gearbox wise, absolutely fabulous. It's got a V8 in it. It's got all the torque you'd need. I can put my foot down at 2000 RPM and it will pull me along fantastically nicely and sounds fabulous, as I will demonstrate once again. I really do love this car. I've owned this car for 5 years now. When I first bought it, my intentions were to buy it and sell it on. But over time, I've grown such a strong bond with this car. I've been places with it, met people with it. I've enjoyed every moment of it. I did have a bit of time where it was off the road for a while and I did lose a bit of love for it, but getting it back on the road was so satisfying. But there's one very, very big thing. Since I bought this car and started modifying it, I have always wanted to supercharge it, which leads me on to my next thing. And this is the supercharger in question. This is a VF M62 supercharger kit, a Vortec V3 centrifugal supercharger. With this fitted to my 540i, it is capable of over 400 horsepower. But to buy this kit, it's £7,100. That's not even fitted, which is why I bought this. This is an E39 535i Auto with a VF supercharger kit. And I bought this entire car for £6.5 grand. That's less than the supercharger kit was new alone. My plan is to take this kit off, put it on my 540i, turn it into an absolute monster, and then turn this into a really nice car afterwards, and hopefully sell it on for enough money to cover half of the cost of this kit. Wish me the best of luck. You'll have to like and subscribe and stick around to see that happening in the next episode. I'll see you then.